In the first video of this series, Improving Search Engine Rankings, we discussed how to create relevant content. Step 2 in increasing search engine traffic is to influence aggregators and distributors of information. You do this by using the relevant content we discussed in Step 1. But what is an aggregator of information? What is a distributor of information? And how does this all relate to search engine traffic? We will discuss all three questions mentioned here now. First, let's define an informational aggregator. An aggregator of information is a site or a source that collects information that people refer to for trusted information. In television, the CNNs, the Fox Newses, the MTVs and C-SPANs, and other similar stations are informational aggregators. They control many messages that the American public views. But what about online? Who are the online aggregators? Your CNNs still control media online, but can be hard to influence directly. But just like TV, radio, and print, journalists and researchers exist online that you can reach. Forum posters and bloggers have emerged onto the scene as very powerful and trusted informational sources by not only internet users but also search engines. And now the new influential people online are socializers. Social media sites such as Facebook exist within almost any industry online. But what does this all mean? What does it matter if you've identified all the influential people and websites online? How can we use them to increase our search engine rankings? The answer: online content aggregators are the true controllers of search engine traffic. They not only gather information, but they distribute this information too. If you know all the influencers and aggregators within your industry, you just need to convince them to link to you. But how do you do that? Link exchanges and link requests don't work. Many times you won't even get a response back from a popular website. So how do you get them to link to you? Let's look at an example. If you are a lumber supply company and you just publish a tutorial, a case study, and a blog post about green home building, you not only just created 3 internal links for your company, but you have also published what the industry calls link bait. Just like a good lure attracts a big fish, the right link bait or the right content can attract big websites. Let's look at this example again. Let's say Bob Villa comes along and is researching his new TV series on green home building techniques. Your tutorial is perfect for his show, so he links to your website. Maybe he even talks about you on his TV show. Your link value just skyrocketed overnight because you created and you published relevant content. And because of this, your rankings are soon to follow. Where many people get confused is when they try to ask the Bob Villas within their industry to link to their website directly. That will rarely work, and if you think you just discovered this trick, let me assure you, Google has caught on to link exchanges already. The same thing holds true with social media. So many people fail in using social media because they heard it's the next big thing. So what do? They go out, they create a MySpace page, they dig some articles they published, they start twittering, and then they go on Facebook and create the largest friend list possible and spam every single one of them and get everyone upset at themselves. Social media is the next big thing, but try to make yourself cool doesn't work. Unless you're Apple, you're not going to influence the masses yourself. So back to our drawing board. Knowing who these online information aggregators are and knowing how to leverage these sites is a critical part of search engine traffic, but trying to become one yourself overnight is not the objective. Your goal is to find them and then influence them. So let's look at how this process should work. Remember, you want to influence the influencers, not try to become one of them overnight. I'm not saying that your long-term goal for your company can't be to become an influencer of information, but the best way to start is to first publish the relevant content I discussed in Step 1. So Step 1 is to create and publish relevant content or link bait. Step 2 is to influence the aggregators and distributors of information. You want to convince them to link to this content that you just published. In this example, it would be to convince the socializer to notice the articles that you just published and link to them. And then Step 3 would be to convince the socializer to influence his large network of social media users. Right? You want him to contact his Twitter account, contact his friend list on Facebook, and so forth. You want him to say, hey, I just found this great resource, check it out. That is true social media marketing. So now that you know the correct way to build links, I would like to give you my suggested process on how to contact influential websites. Step 1, perform massive research. Before you contact anyone, you're going to want to identify at least 500 related websites within your industry. Hopefully put these into an Excel sheet for organizational purposes. And when you look at this drawing here, it's supposed to represent a business owner's office. And you'll be surprised how easy it is to gather this list up from information that you already know as a business owner. Many times identifying conferences, customers, influential people, related websites, partners, and even competitors within your industry is a great way to start building this list. And if you can't build this list fairly easily, you might want to take a step back and perform the necessary market research that's needed to even run a company. Step 2, test market. You don't want to contact all 500 sites at once. Contact small groups first, use different sales pitches each time, and then record the results. Step 3, identify the responses that produce the most favorable results. And then step 4 would be to implement the plan and manage the results. So you collect all the information, you test market it, you find out what works the best, and then you contact the masses. So that's it for step 2 of the video series on improving search engine traffic. Remember, step 1 was producing this content, and step 2 is how to take this content and influence influential people within your industry. And finally, next I'm just going to review about basically how to create the most link value when you're doing this.